Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Environmental Social Justice. I'm your host, Wendy Nystrom, and today's special guest is Kimberly Moore. She is the CEO and co-founder of Go Together. So welcome to the show, Kimberly.
Thank you, Wendy, and thanks for having me.
Anytime. So you guys are probably wondering, it's Monday, and yes, we are live. We are usually live on Wednesdays, but Kimberly actually has a very important message to share with us today regarding school buses and children's safety. So first, before we get into her company, I want to talk about Kimberly's background being a technological goddess. So could you please go into your history, please?
Well, that's a very generous title for me. I had the opportunity to get into the technology era during wireless, right when wireless first became something that everyone had. But before that happened, I was working for Verizon Wireless, their predecessor company, Bell Atlantic, selling into the federal government and state and local. And it was in that experience I was able to discover how we could take what we know as retail service or retail commercial service like wireless technology, our cell phones that everyone has today, and
Yeah.
put it in unique applications for the White House, for the State Department. And by doing so, really understanding what the customer need was and helping our company understand why this was important for us to be a part of it and what it would do for the customer long term, and also for our company, what we would learn and how it would help us grow as a company and be able to leverage our technology in ways that we hadn't even thought about. So that's where I began my journey in technology at Verizon Wireless, there for 14 years. And during that process, launched their federal practice officially by signing the first national federal wireless contract with the General Services Administration. So from there, built a team from 25 to over a couple hundred salespeople across the country and a distributed sales network for them to be able to leverage that contracting vehicle so that federal agencies around the country could engage their departments using our platform. So it was really exciting. First ever, we grew our revenue from 3 million to 55 million in a year.
Oh, wow.
Being able to aggregate everybody's efforts that they were already putting in place, and being able to track all of those dollars in one vehicle was really important.
And I mean, that's impressive. I know you're like, oh, this is what I did, but no, that is very impressive. Working with the federal government, doing the first ever contracts, advising and sharing these organizations. But one thing that always stuck with me is that you are really a supporter of teaching children about science and technology and mathematics, which seems to have fallen off recently, and the arts as well. I think the STEM, science, tech, engineering, mathematics, but also STEAM, which the A is for arts. These are important for children to continue to learn in just a regular curriculum.
They are. They really are. Especially, when I talk to students today, I see a junior high student or a senior high student, and I see someone who is incredibly bright, talented, resourceful, way more than I was at their same age. And I think that technology helps enable them to be able to take those ideas and make them come alive. And I'm very excited that one of the things that I get to do, in addition to being the CEO of Go Together, is to serve as the chair of the Industry Advisory Board for Technology for DC Public Schools career readiness program and their career technical education program. And in that role, I get to engage my colleagues across all technologies to be a part of help preparing the next generation of technology leaders. And there is so much for them to learn from us and us to learn from them to help prepare this next generation.
Oh, I mean, the fact that the resources available today, I mean, I don't know about you, but I was raised on card catalogs and going through libraries and just picking out volumes and looking for what I was trying to find.
Right,
So
right.
now it's a click away. You can just look it up, and that just advances how much you can learn and how quickly, because the time element is smaller. I mean, you're not running to a library, you're not running, going through the card catalog trying to find something. You think you know what it's called, but you're not quite sure. So you're going to look through 100,000 things to try to find it. So that's amazing to be able to have that technology available and guiding these children on how to do that. But let's move into the Go Together. Could
Yes.
you explain? This is so important, folks. Go Together is Kimberly's company. Explain what Go Together is.
So Go Together is a national response to a big problem in K-12 transportation. I tweeted earlier that getting kids safely to and from school is really more complex than just getting them on a bus. And K-12 is really the largest transportation system of all transportation systems, rail, planes, vehicles. They manage over 480,000 vehicles and 480,000 drivers. And most people don't know that. And what they're facing is a national school bus driver shortage. And so Go Together is a platform, a software platform that allows a district or a school to be able to offer their parents an alternative, an option when school bus service is not available or it doesn't fit the family's needs. And so they can use the districts or the schools branded exclusive web and mobile apps to be able to connect with other families that live nearby them and create a schedule to get their kids to and from school one day a week, one time, or on a regularly schedule for the families. We also help them organize carpooling, kids walking, biking, and taking public transit together. Because the future of transportation in K-12 is really a mobility approach, all different types of options for families to organize how their kids get to and from school. So our big vision is to be the go-to platform that districts and schools direct their families to organize carpooling, kids walking, biking, taking public transit, or they really could sign up for their school bus. We would have an integration so they could plug into that bus system and complete all the paperwork in order to take a bus if they're approved for a bus. And there's also emerging Uber for Kids models like Hop, Skip, Drive, and Zoom that parents could take advantage of as well.
That's awesome to have so many options. And aside from the safety aspect, which we all know is extremely important, you were also focused on the absenteeism.
Yes.
That's
So
huge.
it's huge, and especially post-COVID.
Yeah.
Post-COVID chronic absenteeism, which means you're missing 2 days of school per month, is up to 31%. It's doubled since COVID. What does this mean? Is that if a child loses 20 days of school a year, they are at risk for graduating. They have lost hundreds of hours of instruction for arts, science, math, reading, history that are really important for them. And many people don't know that while it's great to have the option to get your GED, when you do get a high school diploma, or they call it a degree sometimes, you are increasing your ability to earn income by $1 million over the span of your lifetime.
Yes.
So we want to make sure that kids get safely to and from school, because honestly, all the amazing options that are available to them through their district, through school choice, really don't matter if they can't get there.
Yeah, and I love the fact you mentioned the socioeconomic impact of this. You need, finish high school, get that degree. You will have a change in your lifestyle. You will be able to grow and learn. But also another thing that's important is the emotional impact, socializing, learning that skill set, because if kids are home all day, you're not interacting with people.
Yes. And the social and emotional impact of going to school can be stressful for kids, right?
I remember.
It can be stressful. And so add on to that, you're going outside, you're waiting for your bus. Your parents have left and gone to work. They think you're fine at your bus stop, and your bus doesn't come. Now, if you're privileged enough to have a cell phone so that you can reach out to your parents and let them know, that's great. and perhaps they have a neighbor who can pick them up and take them to school. That's great. But
Yeah.
for many kids, this is not an option. So now a child is at risk because they're vulnerable, they're outside, and the stress of what do I do as a young person to try to figure out how to get out of the situation. So we want to remove that social and emotional impact on kids to be able to have them rely on an option that they can get to and from school and in community, people helping each other out. It has many, many benefits for them long term.
And I love the fact that, let's point out the fact not everybody has a cell phone. They're
Right.
just not going to have access. So we have to focus on that. But also the added stress of trying to get to school should not be in the kids' thought process.
Not at all. Not at all. It's almost as important as them having breakfast that morning.
Yeah.
Because when they arrive to school, we want them to be ready, energetic, open for what's about to happen, not stressed that I'm going to be late for my class, I've missed my test. We don't want that. I don't think the collective we wants that to happen. And so we can be part of the solution as a community as well. And that's what our platform makes available for families.
And the beauty of your platform, let's go back to the emotional stress of trying to get to school. That's something you do carry with you through adulthood.
Yes.
If you're experiencing stress as a child, you will carry that longer. It's just kind of built into you. So using Go Together, using your platform, you are providing students a safe way to get to school, a reasonable way to get to school, reducing absenteeism, and just removing that stress that you
Yes.
just don't need. It's a wonderful thing that you're doing. What sparked you to do this? Like, when did you say, I need to do this?
Well, my sister is my inspiration. Single mom, daughter in school, and a difficulty getting her from school. They didn't have bus service. And
Oh, okay.
so hearing that and hearing that she wasn't the only parent that was facing this problem, that was one side of. The other side is I live my life based on this quote, that opportunities of a lifetime have to be seized in the lifetime of the opportunity. So as she was sharing this problem, I thought, well, I could probably do this. I was kind of in between some projects at the time, and I thought, let me see how this would work. And once I started exploring the idea, it became so apparent that this was so much bigger than the kids in our neighborhood, that this was facing children across the country, and there needed to be a solution. Originally, my idea was like an Uber for kids. And there's a real business case for why we chose not to go that direction. And it was really important that we look for something that millions of kids across the country could take advantage of. And software was the way to do that.
Yeah, software as a service is very important because it's linking so many people together. Are you available nationwide?
We are. We are available throughout the U.S. That's the beauty of software. And what we do is we provision our software for every customer with their own unique access for their own unique community.
Nice.
Every user that gains access to their districts or schools branded mobile and web apps has been verified by their district and school administration. In some cases, they have background screenings to increase the trust on that ride. And once they get access, it's really up to the parents. That's one of the benefits really of using our platform. What we understand so clearly, our district leaders and school leaders have so many things to do. And trying to figure this out, helping families connect is not something they have time to do. And that's where we come in, where we really provide them with a launch that allows them to get their families ready and prepared to use our platform. But once they're launched, our team takes over and provides the support that districts and schools really just don't have the capacity to do. And we're the experts on our software. So we should be the ones who are talking with them.
And I love the coordination aspect, because when you're talking about a large group of people, trying to get them to carpool together or work together, that's hard. Yes. Different dates, different numbers, different times, different people, different response times. you are taking away all that stress from the parent, saying, here's our platform. It's laid out. Choose and pick what works best for you guys. And then we make it happen.
Yes.
And the background checks, that's important. I know people that are very concerned about who's driving my kid to school. So that's important. Right. Who all is involved. So how do people find you? Because this is a fabulous service. What is the best way for a parent to say, hey, I want this?
Well, first you can visit our website, 𝑗together.today, and you'll see we have 3 different solutions, one for districts, one for schools, and one for parents. Soon we're going to be adding onto that parent page an ability for them to share our solution in a way that a school can immediately sign up for a demo. Right now, they can share the link and be able to let them know that they're interested in using this. Parents are huge advocate. They are a big part of the conversation, a big part of solving this problem. And so we want to give them the tools to be able to do that. You can also reach us on social media at Instagram at 𝑗together_today, on Twitter at 𝑗together_today as well. And you can find me on Twitter at KY Moore and the number 1. And I would love to connect with you there, as well as on LinkedIn. And because there are so many Kimberly Moores in this country, you'll have to look for me by using my middle name, Kimberly Y. Moore.
And definitely why more? Because we need more.
That's
Sorry.
Right.
Bad joke, guys. I know. I had to do it. Wide open door. I had to cross through it. But Kimberly, thank you for your time today. What you're doing is actually very important, because you're right. The absenteeism and getting kids to school safely, that has been a problem since COVID. A lot of kids are missing school. Huge socioeconomic impact will happen in their lives, and also their emotional development. So you're definitely helping save a generation of kids to get to school.
And we're excited to be a part of this. This is going to be a generational change.
Yes.
And total new way of thinking about, instead of the question being, how many buses will it take and bus drivers will it take to get kids to and from school, we want to turn that question to, what's the best way for a student to get to and from school?
Absolutely. And especially with areas that don't have a school bus system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We believe that when every student every day safely gets to and from school, everyone succeeds.
Absolutely right. Beautifully said. Could not have said that better myself. It's all about the success of the child.
That's right.
So on that, thank you guys so much. I'm Wendy Nystrom, your host with Environmental Social Justice. And again, thank you, Kimberly. Check out 𝑗together.today. It's a great organization. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.